Om Shanti. Today in the Murli, Baba is talking about using all resources in a worthwhile way. And he's also talking about the quicksand or the bog or what you call daldal in Hindi. So that quicksand of devotion and the quicksand of Ravan. And he's talking about how we are true Raj Yogis and Raj Rishis. But before we go to all of that, I want to ask you one question. Are you all contented? So, are you content with yourself and are you in a state of contentment? Yes, so how many of you are in a state of contentment? Okay, so, there are only two hands, and what about the rest? Yes, so I think it fluctuates at times. Now, if you are not content, I want to ask you another question. What, in your opinion, do you think will make you content? So, what is it that you will take to be contented? So, have you decided on that? So, if this is something that I need or I think I need, and then if I get it, I'll be content. So just think about it. From time to time, you have placed this condition on your contentment. Yes, for so many things, like if I get this, or if I get this position, or if I get this thing, or if I have the love and care of this person, then I'll be content. But then that contentment hasn't come until now. And when you found that thing, whatever you placed your bet on, when you found that there was some time of happiness that you felt like you found something for some time. It was very short lived, and then that feeling changed. Am I right? Yes, so contentment and discontentment. Now, discontentment has become a sanskar with us. And Baba talks about two things. Baba talks about desires and Baba talks about devotion. So in the Murli today, Baba is talking about these two things, desires and devotion, which we associate with contentment. So we tend to think, or we have been programmed to think, that if this desire will be fulfilled, then I'll be content. Okay, but then one desire leads to another, and then the third, then the fourth, and then there is no contentment. Then there is another thing by which we say, I'll be content, that's devotion. So, devotion is basically beliefs. So you believe that if I go to a certain place or perform a certain ritual, or there'll be peace, or there'll be happiness if your house is in a certain direction, or your astrologer suggests you wear this stone or this ring, and then things will be okay. So or you perform the rites of some person in a certain manner, and then that will give you contentment. So there are so many things that are associated with sukh and shanti in bhakti. So Panditji will tell you, if you do this, then you will get sukh and shanti, and if you do that, then you'll get sukh and shanti. So Baba says there are mostly two things we do for contentment. One is we go after desires, and then the second thing is we do a lot of bhakti, and we think that this will give us contentment. But Baba says that's not how you get contentment. Now, I will tell you something about this thing, about bhakti and Shrimat. So, Shrimat, when we follow Shrimat, Shrimat takes us to a place where I'm absolutely peaceful, happy, and contented. Yes. But you also have to have faith in Shrimat, correct? And in bhakti also you have to have faith. Yes, and then people talk about the power of faith. Yes, and there are some people who reject faith. So there are some people who will say that all this is just a belief, so they reject that. Correct? So there are some people who will say that if you wake up in the morning and then you offer water to the sun, and then you do some puja and you do some bhakti, or you read a scripture, then you will be happy and peaceful. Yes, and there are others who say that all this is nonsense, so you don't do it. Correct? So there are two kinds of people, one who believe in bhakti and another set of people who reject bhakti. Now what Baba says is, when you do something and you have a belief about it, you have a faith in it, then even if that practice is not true, you get some benefit out of it because of the faith you have in it. And that's the power of faith, just what Baba calls bhavna ka bhada. So Baba says, because you've invested your belief, your trust, your faith in it, and you have good feelings about that thing, so when you do that, then I give you some return because you're doing that with a lot of faith. But then Baba says there is another thing. Now, if you don't do that also, you don't get anything. So, so there is no point in just rejecting. So Baba says, don't reject anything. I am not trying to tell you that is not that is something you reject. I am trying to shift you from belief to truth. So you believed in something, and what you believed in, you didn't understand properly. So you got some partial benefit out of it. Now Baba says, if you just if you just align your thought, word, and action with what is true, then you get the full benefit out of it. Yes, so Baba says, I take you out from the bog of devotion, from the clutches of Ravan, and I put you on a path which will actually lead you to peace, happiness, and contentment. Yes, now let's take one simple example. Baba says that when somebody leaves a body, okay, so it doesn't matter whether you bury them, whether you burn them, whether it doesn't matter how you dispose the body. But the body has to be disposed in a proper manner. yes, in a respectful manner. It could be any practice. That practice is not important. But what is important is that A, the body needs to be disposed in some manner, and B, your mind should have very good wishes and feelings for the departed soul. There shouldn't be sorrow, there shouldn't be any other feeling, and you be connected with Baba and send vibrations which make them connect with Baba. Okay, so Baba says this is the truth. Now, if you are stuck with belief, what happens is you couldn't dispose somebody's body, in the right manner, whatever your culture dictates, which is happening in these times. So, there are many people who are having untimely death, and then you're not able to perform the last rites, or you're not able to organize things the way you did, or you thought you should. And then it leads to a lot of discontentment. And what Baba says is, it's not that it doesn't matter whether, so Baba brings us to what actually matters. And then Baba says, even if you couldn't dispose the body the way you wanted to, it doesn't matter. What matters is the soul is gone, and your connection was with the soul, not with the body. Yes, so the body was disposed in the manner it could have been best in under the circumstances. You did your best. Now what you do is you focus on the energy you're radiating to that soul who has left the body. And the kind of state of mind you are in will radiate to that body. Yes, so this is how Baba is shifting us from belief to truth. Now, there are two extremes to this which we have to be very wary about. One is, instead of replacing the belief with the truth, you just discard the belief and say that nothing matters. Yes, so that's also a very scary place to go in, because sometimes, so let me tell you something. So sometimes people will say it doesn't matter what ritual you follow, or whether you have a mandir at home or not, or whether you perform puja at home or not. But then along with that, they start saying that it doesn't matter what time you wake up, and whether you take a bath or not, or whether you cook properly with cleanliness and hygiene or not, or whether you cook with good intentions or not. And then it becomes very scary, because you have to understand which part of the belief system doesn't matter and what part is important. So this is why Baba has given us a lot of clarity about what matters. And Baba has told us that you are a soul, and you are made of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. And your connection with Baba along with these qualities is very important. So if you are performing actions and you are leading your life in a manner which is taking you away from purity and power and peace and love, and then you are not, you are always connected with material stuff and human beings, and you are disconnected from Baba, that will not lead you to a place of contentment. So Baba has given us a lot of clarity about who we are, who we belong to, and what matters. And karma is very important. You cannot dismiss karma, because whether you are aware or unaware, you are always doing karma. Whether it is through thought or word or action. And then how that karma is done is very important. So if you are not using your time, your thought, your wealth in a productive way, because that creates karma. So if you're not using your resources in a productive way, and if you're just wasting them, or you say that nothing matters, then that's not a good way to go about things. So this is why Baba has given us so much of knowledge. And then Baba says that when you just go by belief, then it gives you temporary happiness, but a lot of discontentment in the long run. Because that's not true. That's just what you believe. But then when you go by what is actually true, then you come to a place where where what Baba describes as where you are beyond desires. Ichha matram avidya. So you are in such a place of fullness where there is no desire to seek anything. And when that fullness arrives, then everything flows to you. When you are not seeking anything, then everything flows to you, and that is the Satyugi state. Yes, so when you are fully content, then everything and everyone starts flowing to you. So all good relationships, everything, every stuff, every element of nature starts offering their services to you because you are in that state. But how do you reach that state? That state comes from operating in a soul conscious way and drawing in power from Baba. So that is the state. And then Baba says, everything else is bhakti and Ravan. So, and you know what Ravan or the vices make you feel is, so the vices have somewhere convinced us that if we have a lot of supply of lust, or if we have more money, or if there are many people in our control, and then if these things are available, then we will be very content from inside. And that's why we are running after more and more of these. You are running after money, or you are running after controlling people and positions and things and situations, and you're running after lust, because somewhere Ravan has convinced us that if you do more of it, you will become content one day. But then Baba says, just think about how much of it you've done. So wealth has been increasing all this time. Yes, and people who were in your control are more these days. Yes, or at least you have gadgets in your control, and then there are so many other things that have come and who are behaving very well with you. So you switch on a button, you switch off a button, you have everything at your disposal. You don't even have to get up, you just swipe and your experience changes. And there are so many things in your control. You have everything at your disposal these days. But then has it made you content? So Baba says that now you free yourself from the clutches of Ravan, and that's not how you will reach that place where you're contented and then everything flows to you. So now you have to understand, you stay in spiritual intoxication. And Baba today talks about the intoxication that I'm a Brahmin claiming the inheritance from God Himself. So just come to that place of awareness where you are soul conscious and supreme soul conscious, and you are in the intoxication of where you're going, and that gives you happiness. And that will make you content because that is the truth. Yes, so instead of believing that if I indulge in more vices, I have more money, more sensual pleasure, more control, everything at my disposal, then I'll be very happy. Then Baba says that's not how it is going to work. So, desire and devotion is not going to give you what you are seeking. So Baba says, don't stay in the intoxication of this material world. Shift to that place where you have spiritual intoxication, and that is everlasting, never changing. And when you stay in that intoxication, you will reach a place of peace and happiness, which is everlasting and very durable in nature. Yes? Does that make sense? I don't know, but spirituality is so difficult to put in words. Sometimes I feel that you want to convey an idea and you doubt whether it goes through. Yes, so this is something that Baba is trying to teach us today in the Murli. And there is a comment that my contentment wavers when I don't walk as per Srimad. Yes, that's true. It is supposed to be like that. But I become guilty and upset. That's not how you correct it. So I always say I have a problem with this culture of feel guilty, do nothing. Yes, so there are two things: feel guilty, do nothing, and do something and don't feel guilty. So if you are feeling guilty and doing nothing, it's not working. And if you're doing something, then why feel guilty? So then if that mistake made you realize something and it has put you on a path, then you should thank that mistake instead of feeling guilty. Yes, so if something has become a wake-up alarm for me, and I tell you, when I was growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of businessmen, and one particular person told me a very nice thing. You never earn without squandering some money. So they said that when somebody starts a new business, you inevitably they will incur some loss. Yes, so some loss. They will deal with a wrong person, or they will make a bad deal, or they will do something, and then there'll be some loss. But then he says that loss is very good because you will learn the lesson and you will learn where not to have a loss in future. So I got that sense that you don't learn without losing. So, but in spirituality, what I understood later was what you lose is just a part of your ego every time you learn something. Because actually there is no loss. So money lost is not loss. Yes, and then if somebody said some words to you, that's not loss. That's just a loss of ego. Even the loss of money is a loss of ego sometimes. So you thought that that's going to help you, but then it didn't. So you learn a lesson and you understand that money is not everything. And then, so Baba says that even if you lost something, then always know that this has made you understand something else, and don't feel guilty about it. Thank that loss for having given you that lesson and move forward. Okay, so if you're not doing anything, guilt doesn't help, and if you're doing something, then guilt is immaterial, because guilt is, why feel guilty? Okay, so guilt is a very useless sanskar we have developed. And I will tell you one thing which I believe, that a true Brahmin never feels guilty. A true Brahmin has very good discernment and decision making. So, whenever you go wrong, it should take a second to discern, decide, and correct. If you take 1 second to discern, decide, and correct, you are on the right path. And I learned this lesson somewhere in my journey that the mark of a true Brahmin is not that you never fall, but the mark of a true Brahmin is that you fall and you rise abruptly without losing time and energy. And then you identify the place where you fell and never fall there again. Okay, so don't repeat a mistake. You may make a new mistake, but then don't repeat a mistake. So that's how you proceed on this journey. Whenever something went wrong, just discern and decide and change that abruptly. And thank that situation for having taught you that lesson. Okay, and this is a very good way to go forward in life, because then when you look back to life, you will never have any regrets. You will always thank all the people and situation who put you forward. Mostly people have regrets, and people have a lot of complaints with the people and situations who made them who they are today. Do you know this? This is a very good phenomena, that those people and those situations, by whatever acts they did, they made you who you are today. But then you keep cursing those same people and situations who made you who you are today. And you are a fine piece of work. So thank them for making you who you are today, even if they gave you a tough time that helped you. So when you look back, if you've done this work, every second by second, getting up and looking at things and looking at what they taught you, then when you look back at your life, you will not have any complaints and regrets. You will be very proud of yourself, and you'll be very thankful to everyone and everything that made you who you are. And I know there are many people in my life who contributed to making who I am today, making me who I am today. And there are other people who tell me that they did a lot of wrong to you, but I am very thankful to them, because had they not put me under so much of pressure, I wouldn't have become who I am today. So, and we are on a journey of becoming a diamond, and the process of becoming a diamond is not easy. So, coal is subjected to tremendous pressure, and that changes it to a diamond. So, you should never, there is no space for guilt, regret, complaint, trauma. No, these emotions are not there for Brahmins. Very quick discernment and decision making. You slipped, you discern, you decide, uplift, move on. Yes. And identify that pothole. And no, you don't have to slip in there again. Okay, so this is how it goes. Now, so this is about contentment, and this is about desire. And so our relationship with desire needs to change. And we need to understand that desire and the fulfillment of desire will not lead to contentment. What will is knowing who you are, and knowing who you belong to, and knowing where you're going. So Baba says, go into the spiritual intoxication, and that will make you feel content. And our relationship with devotion also has to change, because devotion has a lot of belief in it, which is not true. But Baba says, don't again discard the truth, which is what matters is pure action, loveful action, peaceful action, powerful action, and your connection with Baba. So don't think that nothing matters. So these things are important. Pay attention to that. So, and today Baba speaks some lines about this. So let me read out those lines. So Baba says, you know that Baba is taking you to the land of happiness via the land of peace. There is no need for you to be told. You know that you came here to play your parts and that you now have to return. You have this happiness. So first reason for happiness, we are returning home. Are you happy you're going home? Yes, are you happy that you're going home? So Baba says, be happy about this. Yes, so whenever you are in an office and you get transferred, and then they are giving you work and they are giving you trouble, and then you feel, oh, only 5 days to go, so let me do whatever is needful and then I have to go. So then you say, and even if somebody tells you, this office is like this and that, and then you say, doesn't matter, I'm leaving it, so I don't want to complain anymore. So Baba says, have this happiness, I'm going anyway. So I have to just do my bit, finish my work, and then leave. So have this happiness, first happiness. Then second, Baba says, the mind cannot remain in peace. No one can stay without performing action. So you have to think. Thought is a faculty of the mind and you cannot stay without thinking. However, there is the realization that we are claiming the inheritance of purity, peace, and happiness from the Father. Therefore, there should be that happiness. So the second happiness is you are going to that world of purity, peace, and happiness, which is the golden age. So you're going to Satyug, that should make you very happy. So Baba says, the mind cannot be at peace. That means the mind cannot be thoughtless. But if you fill your mind with the thoughts that you are going to this beautiful world next, then you will be happy. Yes, so even if you are doing the most ordinary of work, if the thoughts inside of you are elevated, that is, you are thinking about your new home and your new world, then you will do everything happily. Yes, doesn't matter where you are today, but if you know that you're going home and you're going to your new world, you will be happy. Then the third thing is, Baba says, you souls remain peaceful when you stabilize yourself in your original religion of peace. So Baba says, and the third thing that makes you peaceful is you remember you are peaceful. So you will not become peaceful by wanting to become peaceful, but if you know you are peaceful, you will be peaceful. So these are the three things that will give you peace and happiness. And then Baba in the Murli today says that you are the ones who are learning true Raj Yoga, and you are the ones who are true Raj Rishis. And Raj Rishis means pure. So you see, this word Raj Yoga is not new. So there are many people who say that they teach Raj Yoga. But then Baba says Raj Yoga means, in the Gita it is mentioned that Raj Yoga means the yoga that makes you the king of kings. Okay? So now Baba says, nobody became the king of kings by learning what other people are teaching in the world. So you are the ones who are becoming the king of kings, and you are the ones who are learning true Raj Yoga. Now let me read out what Baba says, and it is, you will understand it then. Baba says, only the Father personally gives this knowledge to you children, He is speaking to you through this mouth. You know that Shiv Baba has made you belong to him and that he has made you into Brahmins through Brahma. This one is Shiv Baba's child and also his wife. Who? Brahma Baba. Brahma Baba is Shiv Baba's child and also his wife. Why? Because he's a child, because he gets the inheritance, he will also become Sri Narayan because of Shiv Baba. And he's a wife because as soon as Brahma Baba and Shiv Baba get together, Shiv Baba says, you don't get the sustenance, you will give the sustenance. So the wife doesn't get sustenance, the wife and the husband together give sustenance to children. So this is why Baba says he is an ally. So he is like my wife who does the task with me. So now Baba says, look how many children are being looked after because this one is male against Saraswati, which is Mama, has been made into a helper to look after the children. These things are not mentioned in the scriptures. This is practical. Now Baba says, Raj Yoga was taught by God. Okay, this is something that people say, that Raj Yoga is taught by God, but nobody knows when God comes, how God comes, and what is the chariot on which he sits, and how he gives the Gyan which makes you the king of kings. So Baba says, this is the practical way in which I enter Brahma Baba's body, adopt you children, and teach you Raj Yoga. This is how it practically happens. And then Baba says, only the father taught Raj Yoga. And those who were taught Raj Yoga became kings and took 84 births. Many people study the Bible, the Quran, the Vedas, and the scriptures, but they don't understand anything. They don't understand the form of God or the task of God, right? Now Baba says, you are not yogis who have yoga with the elements. Now in the world also, many people practice yoga, but their yoga is with the body, the 5 elements of nature. Even sannyasis, who do they have yoga with? The Brahma element. Yes, now who do we have yoga with? We have yoga with the ocean of knowledge, ocean of purity, ocean of peace, ocean of power. So, who you have yoga with will change you according to their state. So, if you have yoga with the Brahma element, you might become peaceful because the Brahma element is peaceful. But then you will not become knowledgeful or powerful or loveful or happy or blissful, because that's not the quality of the Brahma element. And if you want to be the king of kings, that is the deity, then you have to have all these qualities inside you. You have to be the master ocean of knowledge, peace, love, beauty, everything. And Baba says that yoga is only when you are connected with me. Okay? So this is why Baba says, you are not the yogis who have yoga with the elements. You have yoga with the Father. That is, you remember the Father. You are now Raj Yogis and you are Raj Rishis. That is Yogi Raj. That is, those who are pure are called yogis. Why? Because Baba says, if you have yoga with the ocean of purity, then the first sign will be you will become pure. And this is why Raj Yogis will always be pure. And there is no purity in the world because nobody has yoga with the ocean of purity. Yes? So Baba says, you are the true Raj Yogis, you are the true Raj Rishis. You have become yogis to claim the kingdom of heaven. Okay? So we are the true Raj Yogis and Baba is teaching us how to get rid of desire and devotion and have spiritual intoxication and become contented. Okay? Om Shanti.